All right, so here we are in lesson 3, variables practice. So we can run this program, watch the variables change. We're going to take these variables and put them in the watch area so that we can watch them. All right, so my favorite number. My favorite number. And my favorite food. All right, so right now these are undefined because I've not run the program. So let's go ahead and do that now. So as you can see, my favorite number, the value changed to 1, and my favorite number, my favorite food changed to pizza. And that is what's coming out in the console as we've highlighted each item. I'm going to make this run a little bit faster next time. And so it says change these values. Let's take a look at the show me how. So a variable is assigned a value using the equal sign or the assignment operator as shown below. So this variable, my favorite food and my favorite number, we can change the assignment values just simply by clicking on that line. And let's say that my favorite number is 7. And my favorite food is shrimp. I like shrimp. Okay. So now that I've done that, I can go ahead and hit the reset button and run. And there you have it. I think that's all that they're asking for you here. My variable. Yep. Just give it a new value. Perfect. And I think we can just hit the finish button and we're done. All right. So that's lesson 3, part 1. Lesson 3, part 2. So one of the things that they want you to do, there's a few rules for variable names, right? They need to make sure that you understand that variables are case sensitive. So my var with a capital V is different from my var with a lowercase v. Variable names can't have spaces in them either. Underscores are allowed, but a space is not. So variables can't start with a number, but they can have numbers in them. And variable names should always be meaningful. This way, you don't have to go, okay, what was that variable again? Oh, yeah. So, like, pirate is a really cool name for a variable, but unless your like data is related to a pirate or pirates, then pirate might not make sense as a variable name. Okay. So, how can the red and yellow warnings help you debug your code? Debug this program so that it runs without errors. Okay, I'm going to click on the show me how thing here, and lines added to the story can be added by dragging console.log out of the command space, or you can just literally type it. We can use our variable name in our console.log and make sure that we use the appropriate variable name. This is pseudocode. This is basically code that's representing something that you'd actually write. It's not the actual writing of it, but there you go. All right. So pet name hasn't been declared yet. But wait, there it is on line 2. Oh, wait. Pet name with a lowercase n is not the same as pet name with an uppercase n. There you go. And the warning is gone. Here. This says expected parentheses and saw type. Okay. and it's missing a semicolon. Expected identifier has expected an identifier and instead saw parentheses, and pet hasn't been declared yet. So what this is telling you right here, console.log, they're kind of, it says like, I'm expecting a parentheses here. Well, the reason you're expecting a parentheses here is because the value says pet space type. We fix that by deleting this space, and voila, it's done. Okay. That's all gone, right? Now we're not doing any of that, hey, I'm expecting this and I got something else stuff. Here, we've got our console.log, and then wait. Here on line 20, it says wait hasn't been declared yet. Well, it's not wait, it's pet wait. That's what we need to fix this to. And we need to make sure that it's a capital W too. So P-E-T, capital W, wait. Oops. Apparently I mistyped. Typos are the bane of our existence. That is how it goes. All right. Then pet name with a capital P hasn't been declared yet. Well, we have a pet name, and the pet name is with a lowercase p. All right. Next thing it says to do in here is to add 3 lines to the story. Make sure it references at least one value. We can do that in each one of these, right? So let's see here. This is a story about my pet named Jackson. It's a lot of work owning a iguana. Shouldn't that be an iguana? No matter. Especially because it weighs about whatever the pet weight is, pounds. And I love Jackson. It's the best iguana in the world. So now we want to add 3 things, 3 more lines to our story. So console.log. So console.log is technically a function. So whenever you see like a set of parentheses, that should be an indication of a function. And so in here, we will want to type something. There's a number of different ways that we can go about this. Let's see here. What am I going to say about Jackson? So I can type something like pet name. I can plus. I'm concatenating. Basically, I'm adding to the value of pet name. Make sure that I have a space here. Otherwise, Jackson and what I put into the quotes are going to run together. So pet name. So Jackson is my first. And then I can do another concatenation, pet plus pet type. So Jackson is my first iguana. Make sure I put that semicolon at the end. Console.log. Actually, yes. All right. And then what am I going to say? How much does Jackson weigh? He weighs 60 pounds. Is that big for an iguana? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he's a chunky iguana or if he's just a big iguana. Let's just say my vet says that at plus pet weight, and I'm going to put a space. Or actually, I'm going to put a comma and then a space. Plus pet name plus is big and may have to go on a diet. Yeah, this is a little more complex than I would expect for you guys to write. Maybe even you can do what they did on line 19 and just kind of break them up like this. But the way that I have line 33, basically, it's going to output all of that onto one line, console.log. So let's just grab this guy, right? Because this is some of you guys use text code blocks. If I grab this code block and I drop it in, it's going to convert it to text because I'm not showing blocks, I'm showing text. So, and then you can just say something like, but I love space plus pet name plus space none the less. Actually, I think that's all space words, individual words, not one word, nonetheless. All right. So now that we have our 3 lines, right, I've referenced all 3 variables throughout this, and I'll just hit run. So here we're setting the values of the variables. And you can see this. This is a story about my pet named Jackson. It's a lot of work owning a iguana, especially because it weighs about 60 pounds. I love Jackson. It's the best. Pet type in the world. I may have messed up. So there we go. So what line was that? Pet type in quotes. It's a lot of work owning iguana. I love. It's the best pet type. It's the best pet type. There we are. Line 27 we know is incorrect. So let's fix that first. And then we can run it again. Make sure that it works exactly like it should. Pet name, pet type, pet weight, pet name Jackson, pet type iguana, pet weight 60. This is a story about my pet named Jackson. It's a lot of work owning an iguana, especially because it weighs about 60 pounds. I love Jackson. It's the best iguana in the world. Jackson is my first iguana. My vet says that at 60, Jackson is big and may have to go on a diet, but I love Jackson nonetheless. And there you have it. All right, let's go ahead and hit finish.